Good evening and welcome to another episode of Don Cherie, an alternative and avant-garde TV show that devoted to art, beauty, photography, music and much more. In general, devoted to life and the lifestyle. My name is Cherie Laurent, and I am going to be your host for tonight's episode. So please sit, relax and let's enjoy our journey. Tonight's episode, as you could see, I have followed my promise to you, as a lot of you requested me to do all the rainbow colors. That came from the episode before last week. I appeared with the color blue because I was just feeling blue, and as I explained, we are still in Australia in another week of lockdown, so lots of us honestly have enough but we just have to do anything to keep us positive and keep going with it. So I came up with the blue look after watching a TV show on Netflix, which I explained, called Glow Up, which is a very creative show. And what surprised me is this episode went on a network, which is Roku TV in America, that goes all around the world, and also Amazon Fire TV. And it seems like the thumbnail of the blue look created the most attention and the highest rating on this episode, particularly because the blue looks. That's bring me to an old memories. Is when I started this TV show was 2005 2006 on TVS in Sydney, and at that time I did have a extremely bright red hair, flaming red hair, and that was before even Rihanna came up with the red hair on her album. And I went to New York. This red hair, by the way, came by mistake. I was experimenting with my hair and I bleached it more than I should, and I used the wrong dye, and then I ended with bright flaming red hair, and then suddenly it becomes my signature and I kept it. So when I moved to New York, I was the first day on the subway, I was approached by a photographer in New York Film School and asked me to model for him. So I went to the New York Film School and we did a modeling shoot. And then I think it was the same week I was walking in Times Square, and then I went to my agent, and that was the first meeting with her. And she said to me, my photo was on her desk with my flaming red hair, and then she was saying to me, there was a famous director here, saw your photo on the desk, and he said to me, I just saw her in Times Square, so you're gonna get noticed because of the bright red hair. I said okay. And then I launched Don Cherie on the community channel in Manhattan on channel 57, and from there, obviously, when I did appear that time, 2007 2008, there was no Netflix, there was no streaming services, all this wasn't even heard of, so people was mostly watching cable and community channel and normal TV. But I based on one subject is people going to be surfing the TV station, and if they're gonna surf to a channel that they will see me with my bright red hair. And what I did with editing, I pushed the saturation of the red hair to extreme, so I was sure that people are gonna stop and watch and think, what the hell was that? And that worked very well, because in no time I was going everywhere, to opening, to video opening, to music opening, to mostly every function I was inviting to, or even on the street. And people always used to come to me and said, you're on TV, I've seen you on TV, I remember your red hair. And the red hair worked really well at that time. So now when I bought the blue hair, which came from just me feeling blue, trying to be creative, here I am getting the highest rating on Amazon Fire TV and also on Roku TV through my thumbnail with the blue hair. So tonight I decided to go to the pink as I promised, because a lot of you asked me last week to try all the colors of the rainbow. And if you go back to series number 5 and some of the series number 6, I was doing this already But the show was in Australia around 2:30 in the morning on Tuesday night. So I don't think a lot of people watched it, where now it's on 11 o'clock on Friday and also 11:30 on Wednesday in Adelaide. So there is more people watching the show and going to more wider, basically, range of audience because of the lockdown. So if you like to see all this previous creativity from all the episodes, they are on Vimeo, Cherie TV show. Also some of them on Cherie Laurent YouTube channel. If you have Amazon Fire TV, you could find it, search under Cherie, just type the name Cherie. You will find all the seasons, the 12 season on Amazon Fire TV. It's all for free. And if you are international, you could find it on Roku, and all the episodes is there. I hope I was successful of creating the pink look that makes you happy. And I apologize because it is lockdown. We can't get to shops or buy anything. So I just use everything I have and everything I found to create the look. So if it is not on the high level of standard, based on a very limited budget and being locked in my apartment, so I apologize, but I try my best. I hope you will like it. From there, I would like to take you to another thing. Is last week we talked about a very sensitive conversation on Don and Cherie. We started with basically the difference between education in Middle East, where I came from and I grew up my early years under the regime of a dictator, and between Don, who grew up in Canada and lived in America. And a lot of you really all around the world enjoying this conversation because it's creating bridges between two different cultures and introducing you to a lots of information that I also like to learn, and I'm sure all of you enjoying it. And I could see that from the emails and the feedback, that I'm grateful, because with your feedback I grow and the TV show get better, and now it's taking international appearance in all around the world. So one of the emails I kept receiving, we talked about, or Don asked me about a subject which is very controversial, which is arranged marriage. And as I always say, on this show, we don't try to brainwash, we don't try to push on ideas, we don't try to change attitude, and we don't try to change you. All what we're trying to do is to make you aware and make you understand the difference between two different cultures, that they are extremely on different sides of the globe.
Would you like to be touched by an angel? Then subscribe to onlyfans.com/Cherie777, where you'll enjoy the most exquisite art, music, photos, videos, where fantasies, dreams, illusions, and mirage are all merged together. Subscribe now and enjoy the world beyond your imagination.
Good girl, turn back.
The Australian TV legend and singing sensation Cherie Laurent is releasing her single, Good Girl Turn Bad, available on iTunes and Spotify. Download your copy today.
But never please. She used her sexy body with so much ease. With just one look, men will turn to freeze. She's wild and horny, running in cat.
In the Middle East, where you were from, and now I spent some time over in India for a few months, and there about 80-90% of the population had prearranged marriages. Was that also true in Iraq?
Yeah, my mom and dad was prearranged. I talked about their story, and they loved each other and they lived with each other 60 years. My dad died. Every one of my sisters got arranged marriage. They were virgin until the day they got married. My family was very westernized. Most of my brother and sister studied in England and in America. We were really westernized, but we kept our culture. So when my sisters got married, their husband was pure Iraqi from the Iraqi culture. Although things did not happen like, let's say more quite as example, the sheets with the blood from a virgin on the wedding night. That happened very discreetly. In the old days, they take those sheets and they go and they show it to everybody to prove that the girl was virgin. In my family, it happened very discreetly, that my mom took the sheet and went to the boy's mom and showed it to them. And I was a little kid and I didn't understand what they're doing. Now, in this age, I know what this was about. At that time, I didn't understand what it was about, why my mom was carrying a sheet and she was being very discreet and she didn't want anyone to see them apart from my sister's stepmom, to prove basically to the family that the honor of my sister. So we followed the culture, but in a different way. We didn't make a big deal about it like the normal people do, because we're more westernized. But we have to follow the rules.
So in regards to the prearranged marriages and the tradition, is that tradition still just as strong, or is it on the decline at all? Or is it starting to dwindle off?
My two brothers who lived in England and Switzerland, they graduate, both of them from Harvard and Cambridge University, and they both have PhD. They married Western girls, and that was a big deal in my family. My family followed the rules that my brothers should be marrying a virgin. And when they married Westerners, it was just like mostly everyone have a heart attack. I didn't care, but look at me. I'm the only person who chose love rather than arranged marriage, and I fall in love with Western men, and I'm the only one who has so many broken relationships and made bad choices, probably because of me and them too. I don't blame them. I don't throw the blame on them only. Probably did not work from both of us, but it seems to me that all my sisters who arranged, they still touch wood in a happy relationship with lovely kids and lovely families, and they're doing well, and I am single. So that was a good question, or respond to your question, isn't it? There is people who do arranged marriage until now, and there is people who got modernized and chosen by love. My nieces and nephews, they are new generations, but they got arranged marriage. He saw his wife, he saw her in university, but he wanted to talk to her, and she just said, I'm not allowed to talk to you. If you have anything to say to me, let your mom and sister come and talk to my mom. You know, my nephew goes and talk to his mom and take his mom and dad, and they went and they asked for the girl's hand. And that's the situation. So not everyone is doing it, but I think the people who's doing it, it's working well with them. My nephew now has 4 children, and he loves his wife and she loves him more than anything else. I think it's about, if you know that you have only one man in your life, and he's a good man, he's good, well educated, he's taking care of his family, he doesn't have alcohol problem, he doesn't have a drinking problem, he's not someone who goes around and cheat and play, he takes care of his kids and his wife and his family. What else women need? If you respect her and treat her with respect, she will love him. And they are living happily. Touch wood, as I said. That's a tradition in my country. Yeah. We believe in the evil eye. Lots of cultures believe in it. Yeah, that's why everything is touch wood. Sometimes I don't find a wood, so I just say that. But it is.
Well, Cherie, we certainly, I certainly appreciate understanding the culture and the cultural differences. And I think many other people would find that fascinating as well, because we really don't know. And because I had to experience it myself. I already mentioned before that I was in India, had to understand the culture. And the reason I had to understand the culture, because I had to teach cross-cultural communication between the two countries, because there was a lot of miscommunication. And so when we're when we learned about different countries, the geography, we don't get underneath the surface. We don't find out about those things. So I really had to find out about it. And of course, for me to find out about it, I had to do research. I had to talk to people in my workplace who was from the country, take notes, make a presentation, and to bridge the gaps together. And that's something that we don't have today.
I think
Would you like to be touched by an angel? Then subscribe to onlyfans.com/Cherie777, where you'll enjoy the most exquisite art, music, photos, videos, where fantasies, dreams, illusions, and mirage are all merged together. Subscribe now and enjoy the world beyond your imagination.
Sex is my game, I feel no shame.
The Australian TV legend and singing sensation Cherie Laurent is releasing her single, Sex is My Game, available on iTunes and Spotify. Download your copy today.
Just call my name. Sex is my game, I take no blame. I feel no shame. Sex is my game. I am your lucky star.
I think a very important thing also, the media paint really bad image of a lot of cultures, and they do it deliberately to create hate and point the finger and destroy the communication. Like if you understand teaching of, as example, the Dalai Lama, and he was talking about it's good to have different religion, because as people don't like eating the same food every day, there need to be different religion, because people are different, and every faith people will attract different people, and those religion been going for thousands and thousands of years, and obviously been working. The only thing is, like, we need to understand each other and respect each other and learn from each other, then thinking we are superior than anybody else, and we're going killing each other and creating all these war. And as example, I think I mentioned it to you, and last time I was looking at a video on Netflix or somewhere about Russia, and the dark image in my mind about what Russia is, it's very dark, it's really scary. I will never want to go there. I'm scared going there. I don't feel safe to be there. But then my brother took his daughters and his wife and my sister, and they went to Moscow, and I said, you're going to get killed. I was like, they have the best time. Everyone was very nice to them. Everyone was great to them. And it's the same thing happened to me. When I went to China, I only have bad image in my mind created by, well, who run the media. You understand what I'm saying? I met this guy that he was American in the restaurant in the morning, and I said, what do you think? I was in Shanghai, and I was really like a civilized shock, because the image of China in my mind was just black, dark. I didn't really think they have modern street or they have modern building. I thought they are like really kind of, let's say, a very cheap place in let's say in India, or very poor places in Vietnam. That was the image of what China going to be in my mind. And then I landed in Shanghai, and I was like, Jesus Christ, the amount of building and technology and the way that it's just going on fire. It's like everything is modern and beautiful and clean and civilized, and the light and the people and the shops and everything is just top notch.
So yeah, so you had a totally different perception before you went there, didn't you?
Exactly.
Yes. And but when you got there, when you learned the reality of the situation, when you arrived in China, that totally changed that. And doesn't that teach us something, though, in regards to those two things? Perception is what we're fed through the media, what they're leading us to believe. And then all of a sudden, we go into it a little bit more deeply, or perhaps we research it, or we're actually there experiencing it, and then we're given a totally new, different reality of what what was fed through us through the perception. So there's the two things. There's perception, what we're fed, and then there's the shocking reality of it when we're finally there. So really appreciate that that experience that you shared with us there. Thank you very much for that.
Like I tell you example, when I grew up in Iraq, we only have programs about Australia, about the outback. That's the only part we see about Australia. We see kangaroo, we see koala, we see the big rock in the middle of the desert, and we see Aboriginal who are painted with the Aboriginal painting. I grew up for a long time believing that is what Australia. And the same thing when it comes to New Zealand, all what we see on TV is a huge big green empty land with sheep. And my first immigration was to New Zealand, and everyone was saying to me, where are you going to stay? They only have farms and sheep. And I said, well, they have a city called Auckland, they must have something. The information at that time, because it was Saddam Hussein time, was so closed on us that we're not allowed to learn anything about what the world was in terms of those countries, the modern country now. We could understand about the history, but all what we see in Australia is kangaroos and koalas and Aboriginals. And at the same time, I'm one of the families, I grew up in all my life, well, not all my life, half of my life, in Iraq. All my brothers are educated in either American universities or English universities. I never gone out, or anyone of my family screamed on the street and cheered for Saddam Hussein for all the years I lived there. That's something we don't do. Civilized people, educated people, classy people don't do that. But the cameras only show you a certain village or people who do that, and it's always on the media, always. And what you understand that everybody there is like that, they're just barbarian. And you feel that when you leave the country and you start mixing with a lot of Westerners and you start trying to understand the disrespect in the way that they talk to you, it's like, why even you talk to me this way? But it says you don't blame them, because they've been fed bad propaganda from early age about what the government want them to believe of this individual or their country. As our image of Japan, as our image of China, probably now is Russia. I like to go one day and discover what Russia's about. Is it really how I think it is? Because all the movies I've seen and all the reports and all the news, or I will go there and I will be completely shocked. It will be just like beautiful country and everything else. So we always have to question what we've been fed by the media. I think this experience now, for the first time, people start feeling misbelief over the politician with the corona and the vaccine, and they were very angry about it. Where I came from, we grow up with, we don't believe politician. I mean, I never believed Saddam Hussein or his group, and whatever they said, I believe the opposite. So you grow up with like, politic is politic. Don't believe in it, find your own way, and don't accept what people tell you to believe. Always search and find for yourself. It's like religion, it's like everything else. Make your own mind, because just don't accept everything being thrown out at you.
Sometimes the segment through the media is very segmented. We get pieces of story, but we never get the whole story, and so that's what's missing. And when we're exposed to media and fed things through media, so those are the two different things. Remember, perception versus reality, completely two different things.
I think politics is like normal relationship. There is her side of the story, there is his side of the story, and then there's the truth. And the truth has nothing to do with his story or her story. It's completely something different. So you need to find this yourself, and that's why, well, now we can't travel, and that's why you find people who travel, they are much more open-minded, more respectful, less ignorant. They enjoy immersing themselves and understanding other people's cultures, fashion, food, everything. It just take you out from the superior mentality that I'm better than them, and because if you're going to look better than anybody, that will stop you trying to understand this person. And in the end of the day, like I always said, we're all human. We all built. The shape is different, the color is different, the hair is different, the way we dress is different, but as a combination, we all want to be loved, taken care of. We all want to be appreciated. We all want to be happy and respected and achieving the same value in life. So if you want this value for yourself, why are you taking it away from someone else just because they born in a different country or they speak a different language? Like a lot of people I found, they make fun of people who make spelling mistakes in English, or they pronounce things differently, including me. And you just say, but this person already speaks 5 languages. You could not even speak her language well, or pronouncing her names properly. So some respect, because if you're gonna leave your country, go to her country, trying to learn to speak Arabic and trying to find your life there and create your own TV show, as example, and get on TV and do your own thing in a completely foreign country with no support and no help and no one believe at you. If you could do that, you could look down at her, because look what she's doing. And that's not only about me, that's about every other person. Stop feeling you superior than anybody else, because everyone else in life have their own achievement and we should just respect them.
Yes, very good. Very good information. Thank you, Cherie, for very good feedback. I don't know if we solved the world's problems as we know it, but perhaps we gave the viewers some interesting feedback and something to think about in regards to the news media, what we're fed, and what is actually true.
Thank you too, and I think we disappointed people, because I was thinking you're going to be really putting me on the spot with all these sexual questions, but you didn't, so thanks God. It was easy. I was worried about what you're going to force me to say, or like, I thought I'm going to get put on the spot.
Yeah, I think that information there is good enough. I don't want to go too deep in that particular area. I think that's a little too personal, and there's no way I want to put you through that.
That was a great conversation, and thank you for your time, and thank you for not throwing me with a hard question that I was wondering what you're going to ask about. And I hope we gave enough entertainment and knowledge and a vision about what is like the way of thinking in life for someone born in Iraq and someone born in Canada and live in America. Someone born in Iraq and she lived most of her life in Australia. So it's a completely different culture, different point of view, and it's nice to have these bridges between us, especially in this time. I hope you had a good night, and I wish you all the best. I love you. Take care of yourself, the people you love, and the people around you. More love, more kindness, more compassion. It will make the world a better place for you, for me, for everybody. I love you. Take care. Bye. Mwah. Good night. Good night.
And yes, Cherie, good night to you. Have a good evening. Would you like to be touched by an angel? Then subscribe to onlyfans.com/Cherie777, where you'll enjoy the most exquisite art, music, photos, videos, where fantasies, dreams, illusions, and mirage are all merged together. Subscribe now and enjoy the world beyond your imagination.
Good girl, turn back.
The Australian TV legend and singing sensation Cherie Laurent is releasing her single, Good Girl Turned Bad, available on iTunes and Spotify. Download your copy today.
But never please. She used her sexy body with so much ease. With just one look, men will turn to freeze. She's wild and horny, running in cat.